Hello everyone, so welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to create a simple to-do app using React. So like this one, for example, you can add a task, you can add another one. Here you have your progress bar for done tasks, here updated. You can edit its content, you can do it and do it like this. So let's go. So here we're going to create a React app using Vite. If you didn't see my video about why using Vite instead of create React app, let's go check it out. It would be helpful for the channel. So here we're going to see and create Vite. So we're waiting. We call it do it, for example, in React, JavaScript. Here we cd do it. We install the packages. Now that we have created our project, we can see what is going on by typing npm run dev in the console, and we are going to see what's displayed here. So we have our project. It's a little counter here. I can zoom in. It's a little counter, so we're going to edit it. So we're stopping this, we clear the console, and first what we're going to do is delete our assets folder, delete our app.css. Inside the app we remove this, and we can structure a little bit our app by creating a components folder and dragging in the app.jsx. So here it's automated, and in our project we can delete here because our React logo is no longer here, so we can delete the A, and my bad, we can npm run dev. We open it and we see our application without our app.css. It's no longer in the middle, but it's always working. So back to the code. Another thing we can do is add a styles folder in which we can drag the index.css. Here we change the path of the file, and to verify if everything is working fine, npm run dev. Here, still working, great. So we can, in our app.jsx, change everything and call it our app. We remove the class name because we no longer have our CSS file, and here we have our application. So what we can do here is separate our project in three different things. So we can have our title here, we can have here the input for creating our task, and here our task list. So we can create a task list folder here. We can create how do we call it, add task banner, and in first our banner. Inside our banner we have our banner.jsx. We can create our component by creating our function banner and exporting it and returning a simple div containing banner, so that we can see our project taking its structure from our application. So we create here the same thing, add task banner.jsx. Oh, my bad, the extension is not right. JSX. So we create our component by creating our function, and we export it so that we can use it outside of this file. Again, same thing in the task list.jsx, and I forgot to return something in the and we add task banner. We don't forget the semicolon, even though JavaScript has ASI. So we create our task list component. We return a simple div containing task list. My bad, I don't know how to write. Here we export it, task list. So now that we've created our components, we can see here nothing is displayed. So why? So I've told you we've exported it, our components, and inside the app we have to call them. To see here, in the main, we have our app component, which is our app.jsx, but we doesn't have the add task banner or the task list. Why? Because in the main.jsx, I told you it calls the app components, but in the app we doesn't call the add task banner, the banner or the task list. So here, if we come back to our project, in our application, my bad, here we want to have our banner, then our add task banner, and here our task list. So in our app.jsx, we can return a simple div containing our different components. So we wanted the banner in first. Here you see it imported it because we exported it. So here we have the path to our component, our name component, and here we declare it as appearing in our application. Same thing for the add task banner here and our task list here. You see our components are being imported by JSX. So here we can see our banner, add task banner, task list, and app. As simple as that. In our components, we create a function which is going to be exported to be used inside our app so that we can use it later on. Don't forget to delete, I see here, the use state because we doesn't need it for our app here. So now we're going to add more divs in our components so that much more things are going to be displayed on our application. So first we want to see the banner. So here we display a little bit more precisely. We want our title, which gonna be h1, for example, and we call it do it. We can create a check. Here it's an extension of VS Code, which I use for displaying icons. My bad, where is it? Emoji Sense here, if some wants to know. And in our application, we have our do it title. Great. So first thing is done. Then in our add task banner, we do the same thing here. My bad, here. In our add task banner. So what are we needed? We need an input and we need a button. My bad, a button. We see a plus here and type text. Ooh. What did I do? Nothing. Here in our placeholder is going to be our content. Here, if we come back, we have an input, our button, and our task list is the next one. Here it's going to be a little bit more tricky because we don't have data for the moment. So here I don't think we're going to see it for the moment, but in React, if you want to save some data, you have to use a variable like in JavaScript. But the thing is, you have two variable important for containing the value and for updating this value. So we can create our tasks and our update date tasks. Use states and here. So I explain why I did that. Here we have our variable, which is going to be containing our task, which is his name, and here our function, which is going to be updating the content of this variable. useState is defined. It's a React hook, which is going to declare the content of task here is going to be its default value is an empty array. Why I'm doing that? It's because its tasks are going to be stored, I think, in the local storage. So our default value is going to be an empty array, so that we have our tasks containing an empty array. Why am I doing this in the app? Because I'm gonna give it in parameters in task list. So how am I gonna do this? Here, task list is a function. So I'm giving him an object as a parameter. We want the tasks and the update tasks. But how am I calling task list with those parameters? Here in the app, we declared our task list, and just like in HTML, I think here we have our ID, root, a type, module, a source, the path. Here in JSX, it's clearly the same. You can type task, the content of tasks, and update task. Why? So here, task is the name of the property you've set in the object. So if I called it here, and here is going to be that. But for clarity, we declare it tasks and tasks. What we're going to do now is save the content of the task to be added. So first we have to create a variable which is going to be content task. Again, we need the update method, update content task, and to assign it a default value is going to be use state with the content an empty string. Use state has not been imported, so here. So we want to say in our input that the default value is going to be the content task. Then we want to update the content when a value is being entered in the input. So here we do on change, and we're going to create inside our function component handle change value, change content, for example, which takes the event as a parameter. Here the e.target.value contains the value of the input, and here we update the content of the task with the value entered in the input. So we copy this method and we paste it here. So here our variable is being updated, but then we want to add it in the tasks object. So in the app, In the app, we declared our add task banner, but we doesn't have access to tasks and update tasks. So we can do like task list and pass it our tasks and update tasks like this. We have to declare our object. We want to take our tasks and update tasks. So here we nearly saved the content of the input. So to do this, we just have to declare the onClick event and create another method and click add. We paste it inside the onClick event, and in the update task, we can do something like this task and our new object, which is going to take our content, which is going to be content task, an ID, which for the moment is going to be the task net length, and if it's done or not, first we're going to say it's not done. Here, great. I'm going just to take instead tasks that length minus 1 ID or 0. Here, this is the nullish because if something in here is null or undefined, it's going to take the default value 0. So we do this, and like this we have our task, which is going to be updated in the task object of the app. Also, don't forget to clear the value of the input when we added it in our tasks object. So to do this, we call the update content task and we pass it an empty string. And here our content is going to be empty. Now that we have our task that is added in our array of object named tasks, we can display our tasks in our task list component here. And to do that, we've already passed our tasks array as a parameter. So first, let's create a task component under our task list folder. So .jsx, JSX, my bad. We create our component task. We export it and we return a default div task task. So in our task list component, we import it to display every task of our task. So to do this, we have to open brackets. We do our tasks that map task. It's a neural function. So we import our task here like that. So for every task that we have in our tasks array, it's going to display a task. But here we don't have the value of each task, its content, because we didn't pass any arguments for our task component. So to do this, we can add a task equals task like that, but we have also in our task component to have an object containing our task, and here we can display the task at content like that. So now we can try. npm run dev. We open it. We add a task, and here we have its content being displayed. So test, here we have its content being displayed. Try again, here. So great. So now we want to display if the task is done or not. So what we can do, we create another div here, we paste our content inside of it. Oh, my bad. Here we create another div, and we can open our brackets, we can do a task that done here and else something. We add an icon, for example, if it's done, we can do a non check red cross or times, I don't know, cross. I don't know where it is. Here. Not red. It would be great to have a red one because that would be clearer for the user. It's difficult, I think, times. Undo. No, I don't have. Okay, so we can do a check mark instead for the not done, because when we're going to click on it, it's going to set our task as done. And not great. No. No. This extension is great, but it has so many icons. Difficult to know what I want. Maybe I just passed it and I didn't see it. That's possible. I don't know. Red cross. For example, we're going to display this because I can't find it. So npm run dev, we try, we open it, we display an app. Here it's not done because when we're going to click on it after, when we're going to do this, our task is going to be done. So here it's not done. Great. So we can continue, and we want our task by clicking on this to be set as done or not. So here we just displayed our content by those strings, but we want to be more precise. If task done, my bad, this is not this. Great. So we open this, create a div, we close this div. If it's done, so we said this icon, and here we said this other icon. So we want to handle the click on done and not done. So const handle click done, and we want to handle click not done. Like that. So we want on the on click to handle click done, and here and click handle not done. Perfect. So now when we click on it, we want to update the tasks array by setting our task as done, but we don't have the tasks parameter. So in task list, we can pass the tasks array tasks as parameter and the update tasks as well. So we call our arguments and update tasks. What we want to do is that we are going to map our object t here. So if t.id equals our task.id, we set our t done equals true. Equals false, my bad. And we're going to do the same, but with here as true. We can even create a method, so like that we don't repeat ourselves, and we update tasks as done or not. And is done here, and by default we're going to do a true here, that, and it is done. So we just have to update it because its default value we don't have to set, oh my bad, here, and we do false. So when I'm clicking refresh, we try, we click, and have an error. So what is the error? Cannot read properties of undefined. Ah, true, because I didn't return in our map our task here. And if we try to refresh, we add, we click, true. You see the icon is changing when I'm clicking on it. Perfect. So now we can separate our tasks not done and not done. Great. What we can do here is in our task list, we can filter the tasks done by doing tasks that filter t that done, and same thing but t not done, tasks not done. So why are we doing that? Because we can we can separate our tasks done and not done. So we are creating a new div inside of it. Div here. We display a span, for example. Forgot this. Tasks not done. And we just have to copy paste this one, but we change the array because we want here the not done. We copy this here, tasks, instead here we have task done, and we can even check mark. Great, tasks done, and work rescue helmet not done because it's actually being done here. So we have a separation between our task not done and a task done. So we add a task, it's not done, I click on it, it's done. You see, it's changing because we update every time our tasks array of object. Great. So now we have a functional to-do app with React. Don't forget to subscribe, guys.